What's up? And welcome back to the Read Bunch. Today I am at school and I am going to show my students how to do a DIY on making their own silk tie-dye eggs. So let's first talk about what you need to make your eggs. So come a little bit closer in. I have a student recording, so we'll see how this goes. Alright, so we have a t-shirt, your silk tie, and this can be any silk tie, but it has to be 100% silk. And go really bold with the prints and stuff for the tie. I go to the Goodwill and I get them for like 25 cents. So that's probably your best option, is just to go to a place like that to get your ties that you use, because you're going to have to cut this up. So you don't want to use anything that you really want to keep. That's not going to work. You need your eggs. I use rubber bands, but you can also use twisty ties, like what holds bread together, like in the package of bread. And then you need a seam ripper and some scissors. So the first thing we're going to do, and you need vinegar, like what you would use to dye eggs with, but I don't have that out here right now because we're not at that step. Because before we do any of that, we first have to deconstruct the tie and cut up the t-shirt. So we got some prep work, so let's get into that. So I have my seam ripper and my tie, and of course the tie is sewn together, but it's not really sewn together all that like it's really loose, the threading is on it. So you just take your seam ripper and just kind of go up through there and open the tie up. You got to take the little tag off, and it opens up, and all we're going to be left with is the tie, the tie all the way up. Alright, stop. Once you're done with your tie, then you need to like lay out a plain white t-shirt. And it could be a towel, it could be anything that's kind of like cotton material and solid, because this is another piece of the process to making your silk dye eggs, or silk tie dye, you know what I'm trying to say. So what you do is you just kind of make a cut. I would say that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches from the bottom. And you're going to go all the way down the fabric. So then I take it and cut it towards a long piece like this. La da da da. And so now I usually gauge and make sure I've cut it wide enough. I know 5 is about right because I've done this before. But what I do is I just kind of sack the egg up in there like that. And make sure I can get the fabric totally around the egg. And that's how I know, because what I'm going to do is put the rubber band around it, and this is what I'm going to drop in the water. Okay, so but let me back up a step. So this is how you cut the material. So then I'm going to show you, my next step is going to be how I put everything together to dye the eggs. Alright, so my student has to get back to class, so I'm going to go ahead and skip a little bit and show you. So instead of like deconstructing the whole time, I'm just going to cut a chunk of it off just to show you how to do it. So what you do is, let's see here, you're going to take your egg and you're going to put the bright side of the fabric on the egg. So you just kind of wrap it around the egg like that. And you want as much of the print, and it's okay if it's folded in places to make it reach the top, because that just makes the pattern, when it transfers to the egg, even neater on the egg. It'll be like cool. You'll be like, ah, that's dope. Okay, so now I'm going to cut a piece of this. I like that crossover I did there. And then I take the cotton and I kind of just wrap it around the egg, just to secure the silk tie around the egg. It just keeps it all together. And then I take a little rubber band, just like that, and it keeps it all tight on there. And then this is what I drop in the water, and I add the vinegar to it, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when I get to that step. But I just do these. I do these to all of the eggs. I cut the silk tie, I wrap it around with the print on the egg, then I take a piece of white cotton material, cut it, bunch it around the egg, and then put something to secure both pieces of material around the egg, which for me is a rubber band, but like I said, it could be a tie or anything like that. All right, so the next step is to actually drop them in the water, okay? So that's what we're going to do next. All right, so we have our eggs all bundled up like we talked about. So now what you do is I have some water, and you really only need enough water to cover the eggs. Just drop them in there. The eggs are not boiled first, so remember that. They're just raw eggs that you're covering now. The eggs will cook, and the transfer will happen as they're cooking. So now what you do, this is what makes the process work, is you add 3 tablespoons of just regular distilled vinegar to the water. We're going to cut this sucker on medium high, I would say, and let it do what it do, okay? So that's that. When I come back, the eggs will be done after about 20 minutes, I would say. Usually that's how long it takes eggs to, you know, get all, what's it called? Is it hard-boiled? And then we'll take all the covering off, and you'll see what happens, how the transfer looks on all the eggs. You ready? All right, so they are done. We've drained the water off of them. Hot. They hot. And I'm going to take the little, ow, I need scissors. Get scissors.
Look on my desk in that cup.
Let it cool. Let it cool. Let it cool. This is one of the ones. Oh, that's one of the ones that I did the thing on. Hold on, let me find one that is completely. There we go. Let's see. Zoom. Come into it. Ooh. Okay. So you can see the blue transferred and some of the pattern around the egg. So your eggs, once we get them all opened up, they'll all have different patterns on it. Isn't that cute? All right, let's open them up so we can see what they all look like. Alrighty, so we are done with our eggs. Isn't that amazing how a really, really ugly tie creates something so beautiful? Look at this one. Isn't that pretty? It turned out so nice. So this was super duper easy, right? I thought it was. It was super duper easy. The students thought it was easy as well. Now, if you want to make some other type of tie-dye eggs or just other types of ways to dye eggs, there are so many fun and cool ways to do this. Go to marthastewart.com, and that's where I got this idea, and she has so many other ideas of ways to decorate your eggs for Easter. So, like it, subscribe, comment if you have any questions below. Thanks for watching.